Welcome to this episode of The Complete Advisor. I am so happy that you're here. We have a very special topic. We've got great guests. I'm excited to introduce you to them. But let me tell you about our topic first. So our topic, in this industry, so many advisors, you fall into one of two camps. You're either in a captive situation or you're independent. Now, there's pros and cons with each, right? If you're captive, you've got the resources of the big mothership, but there's a lot of trade-offs. You give up your ability to make some decisions. You give up, honestly, you give up some of your comp too. You're dictated to, but you have benefits, right? There's things that are pros. However, if you decide to go independent, you give up that structure, the bureaucracy, the benefits that go with it, and you're doing it all on your own, which is just baller. That is so cool. So we have a special treat. And when I say that, we have Justin and Brittni Haywood here in the office. We're going to have a conversation. They are in now, they're not rookies to the advisory game because you've been doing this like 10 plus years. We'll talk your bona fides here in a second, but they're in their first year of independence. And so I'm so excited to talk to you both. Justin, Brittni, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Give me, say, 30 seconds of your bona fides.
Yeah, I started in 2014 with AIG Valak as a phone-based advisor, calling what we call like orphan clients almost, clients that hadn't spoken with the company in 20 plus years. Cut my teeth doing that again in a captive situation. I was with them until about 2022. There was a brief gap there where actually Brittni and I had started an e-commerce company and left and went back to AIG. Got my CFP in 2021 and more or less last year decided to start, go out in business on our own. And, kind of to your point about the captive situation, when I was with AIG or Valak, from a fiduciary standpoint, it's you feel like you almost can't do your fiduciary duty to a client if you're only able to sell a certain company's products. And so that was a big motivation for going independent, was being able to put myself in a position to offer any financial product that best met my client's needs. So that was a big motivating factor for sure.
Let's talk about the crazy idea. So you're sitting there. You just mentioned that. You just mentioned you're sitting at your desk. You're probably thinking like, man, maybe I should go independent. Like this is probably here's my guess. It's gnawing at you a little bit. It's kind of bouncing around your mind. Like, man, I could just be doing this on my own. Tell us a little bit about the considerations, and then maybe some of the conversations you guys had, because there's no decision that's made in a bubble.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I was an advisor for a couple of years, and then I actually stepped away from the industry while we ran our e-commerce business, and we enjoyed working together. So we learned a lot during that time, and we ended up selling the e-commerce company, and I went back to AIG. And my goal was always to, when I went back, my thought was I wanted to get some more credentials, get some more, get a little gray in my hair a little bit, and then at some point...
You're laughing because you looked at me and I don't have hair, but we were talking about hair before, but go on. That was actually painful, but keep going.
Yeah, so I always wanted to go back into business for ourselves, and so it just felt like the time was right, and so I would say early 2023 we decided to make that jump, and she kind of, I think, I was kind of back and forth on a couple of things without going into too much detail. And she kind of, one day we were on a flight to go into a friend's wedding in DC, and she was like, you just need to do this on your own. And that's all I needed to hear was that final
green
light to take. Yeah. And so I just went and I ran with it at that point. And we started putting all the pieces in place, filing our registration documents, and she, for the first 6 months of business, was really, like she said, she's a stay-at-home mom. So the primary responsibility is taking care of the kids, and the business is, the kids come first, right?
Absolutely.
So the first 6 months, though, she was studying for her 65. And that's what she spent the vast majority of her time doing, while I was kind of putting the pieces in place.
Which I underestimated So
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be easier than what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh. I thought I knew from hearing him talk over the years, like, oh, I got this. No, that was way harder than I expected.
So let's talk about, so you pack up your box, right?
Sure.
From your former employer. What were the things that let's talk about those initial challenges. Like what did you have to do first? Compliance, different things. Then we'll talk about clients too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many, when you're first starting out, you don't have any infrastructure in place. Mm-hmm. Like the first thing you're thinking, okay, I got to get a website up. I got to get the logo. And so just all that stuff, obviously, but then that's not even, that's before you are thinking about talking to clients. So, or potential clients. And so, yeah, it was a lot of just building out like our digital infrastructure with my background when we started the e-commerce business together. That's kind of something that was first and like top of mind for me. So having the website up and all of like just our digital footprint was kind of top of mind. But then I knew that seminars were a big part of what we were going to want to do.
Were you doing them before?
No, I had never done a seminar in my life.
Interesting.
Yeah. So up until I left AIG or Corebridge Financial now. But anyway, until I had left there, I was a telephone advisor, right? So I was actually working with clients out of state, California, West Coast primarily. So I'd never done any kind of like in-person presentations or anything like that. So
were you doing client meetings? Had you done face-to-face client meetings when you were at your old company?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
That is, you hadn't been in front of like face-to-face. You were doing all virtual.
Virtual, but primarily phone. I mean, I only maybe did a handful of like Zoom type stuff. It was over the phone. Again, calling people that hadn't spoken to the company in many years. They had an old 403B plan from somewhere they had lived, wherever they had lived, and they hadn't spoken to an advisor since they had gotten enrolled. And I'm calling and just building relationships over the phone. And Brittni would always say, I can't believe that people are entrusting their finances to you and like never meeting you in person. So
fascinating.
So that's how I got my start. And so meeting in person is still, I guess, relatively new to us. And the seminar game was completely foreign, but I knew that it went on. I was sort of vaguely aware of what happened, from a marketing standpoint outside of my role. So I knew that was going to be a big focus for us.
How many meetings do you do now that are in person?
We do mostly virtual still, actually.
That's what I was
we're still mostly virtual.
Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah, we're almost entirely Zoom. Yeah. Every once in a while, someone wants to come into the office, and we have an office space that's great, but mostly people are okay doing the Zoom.
Do you do like a WeWorks or one of those places?
No, we have a dedicated space. Yeah,
at the house.
Yeah. Not at the house. We have an office.
Oh, an office.
Yeah, we have an office. Yeah.
Does it seem so? Being a guy that's always worked either telephonically,
right,
or doing it virtually, does it just seem like wickedly inefficient when somebody comes in?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, but you want to make sure that you're being efficient with your time.
Sure.
Obviously, I prefer to have like that initial call be virtual or over the phone or what have you. But I'm okay having someone come to the office if need be, for sure. What
would you say was some of your biggest concerns when you took that box and walked out the door to start your own place? What was really top of mind?
I don't know. I'm almost like foolish, I would say. I tend to not think about like anything negative. So I don't think a lot about like what bad could go, could happen.
Let me rephrase it. What were the things that were top of mind that like I need to get these bam done as quick as possible?
Yeah. I think I prioritized her getting her 65 almost maybe to a fault. I feel like maybe early on that wasn't necessarily the best use of her time. She possibly could have been better served helping me get some things in place. I'm happy she has her 65 now, though, because it's just great having that in place. I did want her to have that foundational knowledge. So that I would say I might have done that differently, but again, she has that now, so maybe not. I definitely emphasized that, and
just getting clients.
Just getting clients. Again, having all my clients be out of state, or 90% of my clients be out of state from my previous employer. was so I had to really kind of start from scratch here. I don't have a lot of the ability to get referrals in the same way. It's not the same when they're not in person.
And I imagine that they probably hung on to those. When you left, you couldn't.
I was able to bring quite a few over. There was like a 12-month kind of non-solicit thing, but several people reached out to me.
Yeah.
We don't need to cross that. I mean,
we don't need to go into details. But so there were some people that decided, they made the decision themselves.
For sure.
They were like,
but that 12 months is up now anyway. So that's neither here nor there. So
yeah, take that, big corporation.
Come at me.
So what were you thinking? So during this time, you're on the airplane to DC, and you said, "Let's do it."
So Justin's the dreamer. He has which is great. We balance each other out. I'm the one that's like, wait, we need this. So I think probably me, I was more like, okay, what about insurance? We've had this
Good
insurance
question.
from AIG, which was wonderful. And now we have to do that on our own. Just all the little details that go into it.
Yeah, for sure.
What was top of mind for you besides those things of protecting the household from the business standpoint? Were there things like, hey, Justin, we need to make sure we're doing that, or was there ever a moment you're laying in bed and you get like, have you guys ever heard of the Sunday Scaries?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still to this day, I'm like, did we make the right choice? But we obviously did. I mean, I wouldn't trade working for ourselves for anything. But we still have doubt sometimes.
All right.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. He's the dreamer, and I'm like, yeah.
The dreamer, and then the supply, the keeping an eye on the infrastructure and all that. So so let's talk about building a brand. So strategies, things that you laid out. So what's interesting is you've got that e-commerce experience. You've got the telephonic skill set, which is that's rare. Mm-hmm. That's very niche-y. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about building a brand. What things did you guys look to do immediately? A website?
Yeah, we settled on Haywood Wealth Management as the name of our company. I was kicking around all sorts of ideas of, but everything just sounded maybe too cliche, and I never really, nothing really ever sounded great. But so we ultimately landed on Haywood Wealth Management, and I'm happy that we did, because that's what now I'm used to that. But so the brand, we use
Canva.
We use Canva
a lot.
We use Canva a lot for just designing
little things here and there. So I think that's how I made a couple different logos, and then
the color palette. And there's a website called Coolors, so you can just auto generate color palettes. We found one that we thought looked good, and we kind of ran with that. That was the early branding was just kind of falling back on what we had known from our time with our e-commerce company was, we kind of went right back.
We already knew all these websites from back then, so it really
helped
so cool.
Yeah.
With this. So.
Yeah, it wasn't, when we had initially started that company, my goal was I just wanted to start something. I had been kind of itching to start a company. I didn't care what industry, what it was. I just wanted to go through that process of starting something and seeing what it took, from forming your LLC to getting the website up. All that seems, before you do it, it seems very intimidating. Mm-hmm. Going through it the second time, it was just like writing. It was quick. I felt like everything just unfolded.
Fell in line
pretty easily. Yeah. So we were able to get the website up in a pretty short amount of time, and the branding all kind of came together pretty quickly. And again, then it was just, what do we need to do to get people in the door and start talking to people?
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about tech. So, where you were before, you had whatever their CRM was, whatever their software that they were using. Did you have something in mind before you went out the door? What did you have? What did you do?
Well, we love HubSpot. So we use HubSpot for everything.
You have that background with the e-commerce.
Yeah. And I had also briefly run a digital marketing agency. So I was aware of HubSpot. I had never really used it to its fullest extent, and we're still uncovering aspects of HubSpot that are great. So we use HubSpot. We got a couple of since we're working virtually, I felt like we needed really good technology. Yeah. So we both got a brand new MacBook Pro, and that's what we live on, those MacBook Pros. HubSpot, well, ChatGPT. A lot of we use that quite a bit for any number of things. Content creation.
We just set up a little home studio to film some videos for him. Painted a wall, got a ring light, and that kind of thing.
HubSpot is, I would say, the primary
on the marketing side.
On the marketing side, yeah.
What are you doing for like a CRM?
HubSpot.
Oh,
so the way HubSpot, that's what they lead with. Their CRM is free forever. So if all you need is a CRM, you can use HubSpot CRM. Then they have a starter, but then you can build. We host our website there, so they have a CMS, a content management system. So our website's hosted there, but they pretty quickly get you for $30 a month to take all the branding off, to take the HubSpot branding off. So we used that for a while, and then recently we upgraded to their professional tools on the marketing and sales side.
Fascinating. So it's the CRM is robust enough to have your client.
They use their CRM effectively as like a loss leader, or like a lead magnet, right? Yeah. So they lead with that free CRM forever. But then they know that you're gonna quickly uncover, find a need for their other tools, and they've got they're really good. I mean, this isn't a HubSpot commercial, but I can't speak highly enough.
Since we're doing promotional considerations, paid too.
Yeah.
We pay promotional considerations to Diet Coke, to Coca-Cola. So I paid for this pop. So that's you paid the subscription. So hopefully HubSpot and Coca-Cola reaches out to both of us and corporate sponsorship. You're the first advisory team that I've ever talked to that's using HubSpot instead of like a Salesforce or a Redtail or something like that. Now, I do know I can think of a couple, like one or two trade-offs, just because those, I don't think HubSpot is integrated into the any of the e-app systems, but
I think
to pay.
I think there are some trade-offs. I think that from what I've seen from a Redtail, it's the CRM's built for wealth management and but I haven't found that to be something that's a limiting factor. I think that the trade-off is, HubSpot is called HubSpot for a reason. It's a one-stop shop to do marketing. You don't need MailChimp and all these other tools. You don't, it's an all-in-one solution, and it's really good. And so.
And then since you do have your own RIA, you've got your own trading platform that you're using through somebody.
Yeah, we custodian. We have a couple of different custodians.
Promotional consideration pay too.
Yeah, so we started off with Altruist, and we've since we're migrating over to Charles Schwab right now for custodial solutions.
HubSpot, that is so interesting. What was the reaction you got from people when you told them you're putting out you're running your own place?
Very positive, overwhelmingly positive. I think I had like one or so person that was like, I think I'm just gonna stay. But again, if you consider the clients that I've been working with, they were clients who hadn't spoken with Valak or AJ in 25 years.
Yeah.
So I had, built a relationship from scratch. So they didn't really feel an allegiance to the company. They were like, hey, this guy called me out of the blue. Nobody had ever spoken to me before. Whether, what I had found, my best clients were people that they had, 4 or 5 different accounts that were all in that, they weren't a priority to any one company, but they had 100,000 here, 150,000 there. And, when you total it up, it's a nice quantity, but, Fidelity's not reaching out to them. Lincoln's not reaching out to them. So this, I come in from and call them and start to offer, holistic financial planning, yada, yada. And so, working with these people for, the better part of 5 to 10 years in some cases, I think they felt an allegiance to me, so I'd say it was an overwhelmingly positive reception, and almost every single person has decided to come on with us.
Nice. Ponder this, and I'll start over here.
Okay.
So, Brittni, what were some things, and what were some things that on a learning curve scale of things that maybe you all thought, from your perspective, would be easy that ended up being harder, and maybe some things that were harder that you thought would be harder that ended up not being a big deal? Justin, you ponder that. I'll fill some airtime as you think about that for just a second, because there are those things where it's like this, like you said a second ago, the setting up the LLC, all these infrastructure things that the first time, your first rodeo was like, holy smokes. The second time, it's like, piece of cake.
Right.
So, and no matter how big or small, anything that pops into your mind.
Harder. One thing that I didn't expect is we get a lot of cancellations with people, and that's frustrating. And we're still trying to figure out like what can we do better to make people not cancel and to actually show up to these meetings.
Like a prospect, she means.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
who.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that.
So when you say that, do you mean to a seminar or post, like coming in for an appointment? Yeah.
Post. Yeah. So that's something we
eternal frustration
work
there.
on and get better at. Yeah, I mean, all of that was new to me, so it was all a learning curve. Everything. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, just learning everything. And but I'm learning a lot quickly, I feel like. Like you said, the test is a bunch of stuff that you don't need. I don't need to know all the laws. I mean, I do, but it's not.
You do,
not
but
it's, you know what I mean. Like 30 days until you
It's not applicable every day.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's on the 65 or the 7, but I remember doing some math where it's like real life, you're never going to pull out a financial calculator because if you input one thing wrong in the equation, you've got like, hey, your bond yield is. I did a test. I have a designation where there was a lot of, there was a lot of calculator work, and it's like, you're never going to do that. Or, am I going to sit and figure out am I going to do the straddle? Let's talk about options. Let's do a straddle. And you know what? We need to hit this, and I'm going to do it by pen.
Yeah, that was
there's
so
no
hard.
way.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, options are a good example of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Options.
Yeah. So.
What about over here? Something. So from your perspective.
Yeah. So maybe on the topic, what we were just talking about, as far as the clients who trusted me so much, I think I took for granted, the relationship that I had built with so many people over the years, and then coming out and being on our own and not having, I think you sort of hit on this in the intro as well. You don't have the backing of this large entity. So whenever, building trust, I guess is what I'm getting at, is that people, I've found more hesitation than I maybe anticipated. And so we are just really trying to do everything that we can to add elements of trust and show that, we're going to be here. I think people will ask like, well, what happens if you go out of business? And I've got to explain, SIPC and, all these sort of things that are in place. And that was actually, I think, a big reason for us actually migrating to Schwab as well is that having that custodian that people know, I think will be a big benefit moving forward. But yeah, establishing trust with people, I think I had taken that for granted for a long time, that I was always able to call someone, get them on the line. Hey, I'm your new advisor.
From blanky blank.
Right. And let's review your account, right? I had that in. Let's look at your account. Here's how it's performed lately. Whereas now I don't have that starting point as a conversation starter, and I'm having to really bring them on ice cold.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was lukewarm before. Even though I was 10 states away over the phone, I still found it easier to build trust because I was their new advisor.
Right. That I just realized. Did you have a lot of clients in your hometown when you were there?
No.
Okay, because I hate to sound dumb, but isn't Corbridge like out of Houston?
It is, yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So I worked in effectively a call center, but I worked as so we had like an inbound side that received phone call, and I worked on the outbound side. So just like I said, calling, they assigned me 1,000 clients. I ended up having like 2,500 clients by the time I left. So you just have this crazy book of business, and you're just trying to find anyone who will pick up the phone and engage with you. And what I found again was just the best clients, the people who were most receptive, were the people who were getting close to retirement. They hadn't spoken with anyone in 20 or 30 years, and they wanted someone to really simplify things, help them out, make sure that their accounts were set up moving forward, and do some planning for them. And so, with our own, starting our own thing, I think I took for granted that I was going to be able to build those relationships a little faster. Yeah. And what you find is that people are shopping around a little bit, and they're looking for elements of trust. And so that's been a big focus of ours, is just building out our online presence and doing everything that we can to show that we're here for the long haul.
Yeah. What was it like then meeting people in person for you? That's part I just, because I have so many conversations almost on a day-to-day basis with advisors that I'm having the exact opposite conversation, because they're trying to get used to doing it virtually, and they're used to, bro hugs and handshakes, and where you're actually going the other way. Was it weird?
It is weird, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Because you're used to just associating, a name with just a voice.
Yeah.
Right. You don't know.
And your listening skills are totally you're
right.
different.
Yeah, and so putting faces to it's definitely a change, but not in a bad way, or it's
just
actually
different.
It's just a lot different. So yeah, seeing people in person is much different when I'm just used to a voice over the phone, and
that is so interesting. What about you? So what's your interaction with clients?
Meetings, phone. Yeah, we've done a couple. He'll do solo, and then sometimes I'll join. So it just kind of depends.
How was it for you from a?
Oh, like how is it meeting them?
Yeah, what's it like? Because
I don't mind.
Your experience before was you've got people skills, and you had that before because you were working with people, and then you're doing like the hardest job in the world, which is raising 3 people to be like good people. But what was that like as far as meeting clients, meeting people on a different basis, where before if you bumped into, well, you wouldn't have because they were like in California. But like bumping into clients or having to interact and like, well, hey, it's the Johnson, like that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. Just trying to make them like you, talking about their kids and their dogs and all that. I try to do the little small talk to just be personable and have them trust us. So yeah, that I don't mind it.
I tend to be the subject matter expert, and she'll, she's asked about the kids and like you said, the dogs. You're
the facts, and you're the personal side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a couple last questions here, and we'll land this plane here. So how has your role in the practice changed over time, over the last, let's say, 365 days? Are we about a year? You think?
A little bit more, yeah.
A little bit more. Okay.
Our registration was approved at the end of May of last year.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right. So we're 365 plus days. How do you feel like your role in the
has changed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it keeps changing all the time. We are trying different things. We're seeing what's working. So in the beginning, like I said, I wasn't in it at all. Then we obviously do the seminars together. Then we tried both of us being in those initial meetings. Yeah. We've tried me by myself. We've tried him by himself. So we're trying different things and seeing what works best. Right now, we're just wearing many different hats. I'm doing a lot of the marketing stuff right now, creating ebooks, Google things, answering the phones. Yeah, it changes a lot.
So awesome.
Yeah, the first 6 months she was pretty much just studying, so we were kind of in our own little silos. I was trying to build all the infrastructure and talk to people, and she was studying for her exam, and then that was in of itself almost a full-time job plus. So it wasn't until she passed her exam at the end of October, but then you've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, so we didn't really start working quote unquote together until the beginning of this year. So we're kind of in the first 6 months of figuring out where she fits in, and like she said, it changes all the time. And it mainly me. I'm like, I need you to do this. Wait, no, I need you to do this. It's like, so it's just kind of it's a moving target.
So do you get to be employee of the month every month then?
Every month.
She's a great employee.
So okay, let me ask you a personal question. How do you balance? How do you balance being a lovely couple, parents, with being coworkers?
I'd say it works out pretty well. I mean, we have business meetings all the time. We take our dog on a walk, and we're talking about business. Like it never stops. Yep.
We go to usually 2 or 3 days a week. We go to the gym in the morning, and we're doing squats, and then we're talking about our client meetings in between sets, like stuff like that. Yeah. So it never really stops. We're just taking it day by day and trying to just enjoy the process. I always say every day, like, this is a dream come true. I love working with her. love having my own thing. I would never, want to go back to what we were doing before. So it's been great, and we're evolving as time goes on. We're just trying to get better every day.
I love it. God, that is. I had a couple more questions, but that is such a great spot to just bring this down.
Sure.
One last question. Advice that you would give to you if we take it back, we roll time back about a year ago. You're across the table. There's this lovely, good-looking couple. He's an advisor. He's got your experience. Mm-hmm. She's going to start working in the business. Now you can speak back to that. What would you tell you?
What would you tell yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just pace yourself. It's going to be a grind. There's going to be unforeseen challenges. I would say, take it day by day.
Yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Absolutely.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Probably just be prepared.
Yeah.
It's not a walk in the park, but it's worth it.
I love it. Justin, Brittni, thank you so much for being on this episode. That was great. Anybody who's considering, if you're captive out there, man, you need to listen to this episode. Also, we would love it if you would subscribe or follow. I was telling my wife, hey, can you follow me on iTunes? Like it helps bump us up. And she's, I said, can you subscribe? And she said, I can't. There's not a subscribe button. I'm like, honey, there's a subscribe button. Turns out you just click follow. So she was 100% right. I was 100% wrong. So if you get a chance, though, if you like, subscribe, follow, you'll know when we put out a new episode. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions for the show, any topics you want us to cover, I read them all, and I'd love to know. So with that being said, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being here. And we'll call it a day.
Thanks so much.